Hi, Mr. Bowie.
Hi, Nikita.
So, as you all know, Mr. Bowie was chosen as the California Teacher of the Year and also chosen as California's representative for our national competition by the state superintendent. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Is it weird I'm clapping for myself? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, how did you enter teaching?
I graduated from Santa Clara University, go Broncos, with an undergraduate degree in business. So actually, I should take a step back. My road was long and windy, so it wasn't, I wanted to be a teacher when I was younger. I'm actually a career switcher. So I graduated from Santa Clara University, go Broncos, with a degree in business.
Okay.
Then I worked in business for a little bit. I then went to Santa Clara University Law School, go Broncos again. I decided that I liked teaching, or I liked being a lawyer, but I didn't love it, and so I decided to pursue a career in teaching. And so therefore I then went to San Jose State, go Spartans, and I obtained my teaching credential.
So you're working as a lawyer, and what made you realize that you want to be a teacher of all things?
So I'm really, if I reflect back now, I'm really into kind of following your passion. And so like I said, I liked being a lawyer. I sat in these, it was like a big cushy leather chair, floor to ceiling windows. I had my own personal assistant. Things were good, but it's kind of like a weird buzzing in the back of my head. Something didn't feel right. Like I'm a big Star Wars fan, so maybe like the Force was telling me or something. But something didn't just feel right. And so one day I woke up and I told my wife, I think I want to pursue another career. And so she's the most important person in my life. She's very patient with me. She said, okay, I want you to be happy. And so I think it's about, I was really pursuing my passion. So I liked being a teacher. I liked being a lawyer. I love being a teacher. And so I think it's all about pursuing passion. That's why I switched.
Okay. So at Cupertino High School, what do you teach?
I used to teach lit writing, freshman lit writing. To Kill a Mockingbird was one of my favorite books of all time. I love teaching Romeo and Juliet. I've taught English Language Development Level 3 for almost 10 years now. I also teach business law, and so I'm very proud to teach all of those classes. I'm proud to be the ELD coordinator at Cupertino High School. I'm proud to be the mock trial advisor at Cupertino High School. I'm proud to be the co-advisor, shout out to Ms. Masuda, my sheriff partner for the writing lab.
And do you participate in any sports things?
Oh, and also I'm very privileged. Mr. Morse once called me the golden voice of Cupertino. So if you ever go to a football game and you're sitting there and going, who's that loud voice saying, who's hungry? I am. That's me. Touchdown, Cupertino. That's also me. And so I'm very privileged to combine my love of Cupertino, my love of football, and I get to do that. It's one of the cool things about being a teacher, all these opportunities. So I do that as well. I think that's it. I think those are the main things I do at Cupertino High School.
So you've obviously taught many classes at Cupertino High School. What is your favorite aspect of being a teacher?
I think my favorite aspect is when I help students identify and discover and reveal their true potential. A lot of students come to me and not really know what they can do, but the secret is I can see what they can do. Like I see so much potential in all my students. And so when, for example, my ELD students, when they start with me, having just come from a new country just for a couple years, don't have a lot of confidence, not real great public speakers, but by the end of the year, they're at the district speech contest and they stand up on stage and they hold that trophy up so proud. That's an example of potential, one of my favorite things. Or when my students in law, super shy, or not very confident, don't feel like they're very good public speakers, but then I work on that. And they give the most strategic, most decisive cross-examination I've ever seen. That's really cool to me. So I think one thing I love is helping students identify their potential, discover it, and just revealing it to them. And when they realize their potential, it's an amazing, magical moment. One of the things I love being a teacher. I also love, so a few things. I like learning from my students. Technology scares me, Nikita. And so when students teach me about technology, like on their space phones, they're able to kind of move stuff around and here's this app and you can do this more efficiently. That's amazing. I learn language things. So like I recently learned yeet and skeet And
Skeet.
yes, and skeet or skirt. I learned all this teenage lingo. I like learning that. New dances. I like learning new dances. So like the dab and then the whoa and then the TikTok. There's a TikTok. Whoa, I heard about
exactly.
TikTok. A few years ago it was this thing like that. So yeah, so I like learning that, and just like now, I like laughing with my students. So it's just, what job, like when I was a lawyer, I'm gonna be honest with you, didn't really get to laugh with my clients. When you laugh with your clients, it's a bad sign. When they're telling you did this and ate you up and you laugh, it's not a good thing. But with your students, I laugh every single day. And what job can I do that? It's this perfect job for me. So
kind of adding on to that question, why do you like teaching at Cupertino High School in particular?
I love Cupertino High School. It's so special to me, but I think if I were to really think about it, it's because Cupertino High School has established what's called the climate of care. Everyone from the custodial staff, from the classified staff, from the administrators, from Principal Tomberlane to all my colleagues, even the students, they all care about students learning, and they care about each other. And so I think that's why I love it so much, is that we care about, at Cupertino High School, we want students to reach their full potential and to succeed, and we focus on learning. And I think that care could also be said that it's passion, and I think all of the adults here, all the adult stakeholders, from the custodial staff to the classified staff to people in the college and career center, guidance, all my colleagues, Principal Tomberlane, all of them care about students and are passionate about helping them learn and their well-being. And that's what makes Cupertino High School so special. I also feel that way about the district. I really feel like I work at the district level too, and Fremont Union High School District is also a special place. If I needed anything to support my students, I know that Principal Tomberlane would help me to get that. All the assistant principals, the guidance counselors, we all work as a team to support. And that's what's so special about Cupertino. That's why I love teaching here. And that's what's so special about Fremont Union High School District. I say this a lot, Nikita, that they'll have to kind of drag me kicking and screaming out of here. That's how much I love teaching here so much.
You touched on this a little bit in some of the answers to the previous questions, but what are some of your favorite memories from your career as a teacher?
So I don't really have anything super specific, but I think it's what I talked about earlier. In business law, when a student gives a semester project presentation and they stand up and they deliver with confidence, and then they come back later on, having graduated my class, they're just maybe a junior, senior, and they say, this class helped me pursue a career pathway. And that really makes me happy that I'm able to reveal that to them, or this class made me a more confident person. I think they say the same thing for ELD, that the students that leave, then they go on to a 4-year college, and they say, Mr. Bowie, I'm doing well in my English class because of all the support you and the other ELD teachers have given me. That's really, really important to me. I think also what I love, again, sorry, not specific moments, seeing leadership in my students. I love helping students see their leadership potential and then become leaders. So for example, I'm the advisor of the mock trial team. This year is so awesome because my president and vice president, they basically run the whole thing, and they've garnered the respect of all of the people on the team, not only because of their words, but their actions. And so to see that leadership that's so available, that's a cool teaching moment as well. And I guess the most important part of seeing my favorite part of teaching is seeing my students become good human beings. Like just caring about other individuals. When they are part of Best Buddies and they care about other students and they say, I love Best Buddies because I want to integrate them together, that makes me so happy. Or when they're seeing a friend cry in the quad and they sit next to them and say, are you okay? Or even not a friend, maybe even a stranger. Or something as silly as maybe the pencil pouch falls on the ground and they jump in and go, we're a team, and then they grab all the pencils and they help them. That's neat. And so that they're just good human beings. That's what I love about teaching. Those moments like that make me so, so happy.
Okay, so now more about the amazing, amazing award you received.
Thank you.
Can you elaborate more on California's process in choosing their Teacher of the Year?
Okay, so what happened first was I was very lucky last year to be chosen as Cupertino High School's Teacher of the Year. Okay, so I guess we're coming again. And then the next step, I was very lucky because then Fremont Union High School District chose from the 5 schools of the Teacher of the Year. They chose me, so that was nice. Then what you do is then the county asks you to submit an application. So that application required me to do a lot of essays get letters of rec. Now that I think about it, it sounds a lot like college apps. Right? So I did my college app, but to kind of trying to be California Teacher of the Year. I submitted that. I was able to go on to the next round, and during that, I was observed by 4 teachers in this very classroom. They observed my English Language Development Level 3 class. I sit down and interview with those 4 teachers and Principal or Assistant Principal Melina Nafrata. Then it was a very high stress process, and then I received a video conference interview. And so I sat at my laptop in this classroom, and I was interviewed by people in Sacramento over video conference by 4 people. This is kind of, I don't have to get to a later question, but this is kind of my favorite story, and then I guess I'll talk about it later. And then I was driving one day, and I got a phone call from the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman, and he said, you've been chosen as California's Teacher of the Year, and to represent California in the national competition.
Right, so can you describe your personal reaction to the news that you were chosen?
So this is one of my favorite stories. I was having a real hard week. My grandpa actually passed away that week. And, thank you. Really, really hard. But I know I believe that he's watching over me with my grandma, and they're both watching over me right now. My grandma passed away early in the year. So I was having a really, really rough day, and then I'm driving home, and it's the strangest thing. I turn onto my grandpa's street, and then my phone rings. Of course, it's hands-free. I'm on my Bluetooth, and I check the caller ID.
The law teacher.
Yes, I follow the law. It's hands-free. I'm on Bluetooth, and then I check the caller ID, and it says Sacramento. And so I answer it. Nikita, I don't know if I told you, I'm very scared of identity theft, and so I answer it, and they said, I'd like to talk to Mr. Bowie, and I said, who is this, please? And I didn't say it was me. And then he said, this is State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman. And I'm like, oh, Mr. Thurman. And then he shared with me, I'll never forget this. He said, right when I turned my grandpa's street, so it's really, really weird. He said, Mr. Bowie, I'd like to share with you 2 things. Number 1, good news. We've chosen you as California's Teacher of the Year. And I'm like, oh, I'm so honored. Thank you so much. And I'm driving my car. 2 hands are on the wheel. I'm focusing, but I'm so excited. And then number 2, we've been chosen you to represent California, and I believe in signs. I believe the fact that I was on my grandpa's, that it could have happened anywhere in Nikita. It could have happened right turning off Finch Avenue, but right near my grandpa's house. I feel like that was my grandpa talking, because he was always proud of me being a teacher, and so that was a really, really cool moment. So I got real emotional because I was really, really excited. It's like my grandpa's watching over me, and he's saying you did a good job, and I'm still with you, and I'm watching you, and I support your choice. So it's a really good moment.
So the State Superintendent, Tony Thurman, said, the teachers that he selected for California Teacher of the Year are not only wonderful representatives for our state, but they also make profound differences in the lives of their students and their communities by employing innovative strategies to increase academic success and narrow the achievement gap among a broad range of students.
Right.
How do you think your teaching reflects this?
So I believe, Nikita, that one of the ways that I try to be a good teacher is I have what I call a teacher tool belt. I'm a big Batman fan, so he has something kind of called a utility belt, and so I try to use all the tools in my tool belt to narrow the achievement gap, or to help people speaking different languages because they're language learners. I try to do all those things to really, really help. And so one of those things, one of my biggest tools, is establishing a climate of care. That when my students come into my classroom, they will feel safe in my classroom, that we establish this community, and that we will support each other when we're revealing answers, when we're sharing answers, no matter what happens. So that's one tool that I use. Of course, I use the other tools that teachers often use, so rubrics, backwards planning, scaffolding, think, pair, shares, giving, modeling, all of that stuff. But I also believe that in East, I'm a big football fan, and the Patriots do this way. I'm very game plan specific. So I think what happens in one classroom with one student could be different. So it's all about pulling out different tools as a teacher to see what works. So what's going to work for Tom Brady's student is not necessarily going to work for, Lily Singh's student. It's not going to work. And so I just have to use different tools. Also, one thing that I really believe, and I think Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, it's one of the teaching things that I've said, I really thought about. If you treat a person as they are, they'll remain as they are. But if you treat a person as who they may be, they will become that person. And that's how I treat my students. I see so much potential, and I try to help them get there. And so I think if I use all those tools, hopefully I've done my job towards closing the achievement gap, helping English language learners, helping all students achieve.
This is very connected to the last question, but do you have any teaching mantras that you've intentionally followed throughout your career?
I have a lot. So you've sat in my classroom before. I have a few that are just kind of in the cycle that I maybe say a little too much. So I say we are a team. I say make good decisions. I say an organized mind is a successful mind. I say no one's too cool for a high five. I say all of those things. But I think the biggest thing that's really going through my mind is we are a team. And that quotation that I just said, that I try to treat my students not as they are, but who I see that they could be, and they will achieve that, and they've done that all the time. Never fails.
So through this teaching, have you learned any big lessons?
There's so much, Nikita, that I've learned. I think when you first start as a teacher, you're one way, and I believe in growth mindset. Teachers are always learning, teachers are always growing. But I think one of the biggest lessons that I kept throughout, even at the very beginning, is to be authentic and treat students with respect. I think teenage learners really respond when there's authenticity. When I am who I am, I make mistakes all the time. Like literally every single day I make a mistake, but then I say that students make mistakes, I make mistakes, it's okay. And I treat all my students with respect. When one person's talking in my classroom, I make sure no one else is talking because they have something important to say. When we're going to share something vulnerable, I make sure everyone is listening and they're not on their black mirrors of a phone, that we're all paying attention. So I think one lesson that I've kept with me the whole time is be authentic and treat students with respect. But I think the major lesson that I've taken with me for my entire life is from my dad. My dad once said to me, I can give you a house, I can give you a car, I can give you money, but Sean, that can all be taken away. The one thing that they can never, ever take away from you is education. And I believe that the strength, I believe in that. And so if I can give my students an education and a learning environment or leverageable skills, life skills that they can use later on, I've done my job. And so those are the two lessons that, off the top of my head, those are the ones that I really kind of stick to.
Looking towards the future, what will the national teaching competition consist of?
So I just submitted my application, so knock on wood that'll go okay. What happens then, they choose 4 finalists after amongst all of each representative from the state. From those 4 finalists, they bring them to Washington, D.C., and then they do more interviews and more finding out how skilled the teacher is and how much they care, and then they narrow it down to the one winner from there. So. But I believe in growth mindset and effective effort. I've done my best. Everything from here on is, for me, icing on the cake. First of all, teaching is icing on the cake. Like I didn't start teaching to gain awards, but it's nice to be recognized every now and then, and I feel like it's my duty now to represent all teachers. I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to be perfect, but to represent Cupertino High School and the Fremont Union High School District in all of California, it's a major responsibility I take really, really seriously. And I feel like I can use, so I appreciate the opportunity, I can use my voice as a teacher to kind of share what teachers can do and what teachers stand for.
Let's end this video with some advice. What is your advice to students as they're trying to choose their career?
So the first thing is growth mindset. So I'll steal some stuff. There's a movie called, what's that? Anyways, Shakira sings a song. She says, "Try everything," and so I'm going to steal that advice from Shakira. I think you should try. I think that's Zootopia. Maybe it's Zootopia. Zootopia said in Shakira, she said, "Try everything." So if you're looking for a career, try many different things. Explore many, do different clubs at school. Also, I'll steal a thing from Meet the Robinsons. They say, "Keep moving forward." And I believe in that too. So no matter if you make mistakes, have growth mindset, be okay with failure, and embrace the failure. Couple last ones. Find your passion. do what you love and do it full 100% and explore all the different things and be passionate, because then if you do that, your work will not be your work. Like your work will, it's like you won't work a single day. And finally, I think it's important for everyone, but especially here, you are enough. No matter what anyone tells you, no matter what these applications tell you or these other organizations tell you, you are enough and you are worthwhile and you are where you're meant to be. So it's those pieces of advice that if I were to offer the youth of our generation, those are the kind of advice I would offer.
Once again, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, Nikki.
And